Hello, this is Beast, otherwise known as Abyss Beast, here on YouTube, and you are here for a mid-level investment strat into Legion on Sanctum Update 3.20. So, small disclaimer as we get into this, the original idea for this comes from fellow creator Grimro, who also has a full written guide with some explanations on max roll. I will leave a link to that in the description, and another quick disclaimer, I don't claim to be an expert at this game. I just want to share this information and how I did it, because if someone like me can take care of this strategy and make profit off of it, you can too. So, to start off, what is the spec? So, go to the Atlas tree, and right off the bat, you can see we are leaning heavily into Legion and map sustain. The reason being is, once you do this once, you will have more than enough maps and you know what to do with. You'll be able to sustain your own way of mapping, and be able to sell some particular ones for profit. So once again, this is the full Atlas tree. Like, I'm at every single point, 132. Okay, with that out of the way, let's take a look at the Atlas. So for the favored maps, you want to either choose maps that you know will sell well, so you could sell them on TFT in bulk, or you want to select high density open map types. My two preferred, and the ones I see most often, are Cemetery and Dunes. As far as ones you could sell, I see Atoll going for about 60 per div on TFT, and then you have Crimson Temple, of course, for the apothecary farmers. So just play around with them, see how many maps you get. Maybe you want to get something in bulk, you could go from there. Now, as far as what the actual strategy is, this is why it's mid-investment. This is how you'll be laying out all of your maps. First off, again, open wide map, because the Legions, if you activate their monolith and there's a bunch of geometry, it will cancel the spawns, meaning you'll have less generals, less chests, and overall less profits, which of course we don't want. Personally, I did this with 100 Dunes maps. Sure, it got a little monotonous, but it definitely made profit. So literally all you're going to do is get however many maps you want to do with your sample size, be it 20 or 50 or 100 like I did. Just full chisel it up, alchemy it, vol it. And you see I got lucky and got a 8 mod corrupt. So that's good. I could sell that if I want to hold on to it because people like 8 mods, or I could just run it myself. Personally, my build can do anything, so I'm fine with any mods. None of them will prohibit me from running. Next, probably one of the most expensive portions, is getting this charged compass. Your maps contain an additional Legion encounter. The reason we're doing this is because it gives us a chance to have 3 Legion monoliths per map, and that's how you make a lot of your money. So, what I like to do is, whenever I'm setting up, go down here, use 3 sextants on 3 other void stones. So let's see, Mysterious Barrels, Flask your instant, and take increased chaos damage. That's fine, nothing inhibiting, nothing dumb there. Take the last charge compass, place it in. Now that charge compass is about 9 to 10 C on trade right now, and you get 4 maps out of it. So I went ahead and bought some in bulk the other day, and just, they're pretty common, easy to find, and as you can see, these are all my extra maps from my test. And then right here, 62 Cemetery, maxed out Crimson Temple, and Dunes. This is all just from that. So, once you have your maps and everything, the way I like to set it up is 1 Polished Legion, which allows you to spawn 1 additional Legion encounter. This is our second guaranteed chance, and then from our Atlas passives, we have that 56% from the nodes and 18% from canceling everything else. Next, Polished Cartography. Increased map drops. Not only does this increase the maps that we get baseline from just what we need, but it also increases currency gain from those non-favored maps. And then other things you could do would be whatever else. If you want to stack something else, say you want to do Harbinger, you could do a Harbinger Scarab or something like that if you want to adapt it. Personally, I just go with the 2 sacrifice fragments you have the most of, which for me is Noon and Dusk, to increase quant overall, and then slot in your map. Now, it is important that you choose what you have available. So, if you don't have any chaos, take the increased quant and just send it with what you have. But if you have extra chaos, like I have 172, that's more than enough for this purpose. What I would do is go down here and use Domination, applying 3 additional shrines, because in our Atlas tree, we have increased buff, random additional shrine effect, and everything like that. They last for about a minute and 30 with this spec, and if you use Domination, you have a chance to find like maybe 4 shrines or more in a map. There's one time I found 7 shrines, which one was invulnerable, one was the speed shrine. It was just all over the place. It was amazing. Now, as far as how to run it, so I'm just going to go ahead and open this. And let's just do a quick demonstration. As I'm doing this, I'm going to talk about what you will need. I think you could do this build with about, I would say, 5 mil DPS at the low end. You definitely want some sort of build that can take on a good amount of enemy size and other things like that. So, personally, I am a Caustic Arrow Occultist, and as a result of this, I have the Profane Balloon Pops. And you see I'm grabbing the shrines I need, and I already found 2 of my monoliths. Pop everything, grab the shrine. Okay, have a bunch of shrine effects. Pop the monolith. Now, open it. See, there's no arrows leading to any generals. So now we go in a wide ring and click on any of the chests and enemies just to pop them with our ability. Because Caustic Arrow Occultist really is just like a one-button build. I'm just right-clicking to throw my Caustic Arrow out. Death's Oath is helping me clear everything else with Blasphemy and Despair. So there's the first one. But note, I'm not going to care about it that much because I just wanted to kill everything. So now I'm going to find the second monolith, which was up here. Again, no lines coming out of the monolith, so there is no generals for this one either. Again, you sort of run off to one edge, run in a circle, get the outer edge, because that's where most of the stuff spawns. Okay, sadly, nothing else for this one, so we're just going to go ahead and leave it and see if we can find anything else. When you do manage to find generals, be warned, they will take a bit more than your average enemy. I have about 12 million DPS at the top end using Vol Caustic Arrow on this build, so I'm able to pretty much melt them in a very short amount of time. So be warned, you do need a decent amount of investment to be able to run this, and then, you know, the setup costs of buying the maps, buying the sextants, buying the compasses, getting your scarabs in order, it could be, you know, a little intimidating. And if you notice on the right side of my screen, that's another big portion of running these. You are going to run into a lot of incubators. Because you're running into a lot of incubators, you're not going to be able to sell all of them. That is one of the downsides of it, but there is an upside. You're going to be killing thousands of enemies per hour doing this strat, so all you need to do is just apply the ones that you know you could get something out of. So what I like to do is run the Kalguran, which enables me to drop things like burial medallions or exotic coins for Tujin to increase profits that way by rolling his stuff if you have the artifacts. Like, personally, I've made about 2 div purely off of Tujin and then getting logbooks from Denig. But the big money maker, the number one thing I say look for, is look for your stacked deck incubators.
When I'm ready,
These things, when they pop, if you have them in every single piece of your gear, which, by the way, you could incubate them in your Thief's Trinket, so highly recommend getting that. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 places to put in your incubators. And you could stack all of them. You can see these all 79% because I put them on at the same time. You just go crazy in these maps, you'll just start dropping them like crazy. Oh. Yeah, this build isn't the tankiest. So, you can see what I mean. You need a decent level of investment. I didn't clear those enemies fast enough, so that was my own fault. So, all you need to do is just run those. When you eventually do finish your incubators, like right now with these stacked decks, if you have all 11 slots filled, you'll be dropping, like, easily 20 plus stacked decks at once. So, since we killed everything now, just go around picking up everything. You could see the maps all over. I just pick up anything on my loot filter. I will give a link to my loot filter in the description because I did hide a lot of the low-level incubators. Basically anything that wasn't above 2C. I think the highest thing I have really is the Geomancer's Incubator, which gives you a 6-link item, just to get those items, sell for fusings, and go from there. So, there you go. That is one map example. So, sadly that one wasn't the highest profit, but sometimes you get that. See, out of here, I have 3 Chaos, which paid for the Domination Shrine, 4 stacked decks raw, which is 2.5 each right now on the current market, 4 maps, which I could use to sustain or sell, 2 Kelgurn Incubators, which can drop, what, level 83 could drop like 3 or 4 exotic coinage, which you could use at Tujin. And then you also get Scarabs, and you get all of the Splinters, and it just adds up over time very quickly, because that's just one map. Imagine what happens when you get multiple maps in a row that actually work out. If I go to my fragments, I mean, this is what's left over. This is what I mean. Mariketh is the limiting factor. I have 17 of the next rarest, but Mariketh I only have 1, so that's just your big hiccup. So what you would do after running your map is just simply come back, grab another one from whichever one you were running, go to the map device, plug it in. You would ideally have your Scarabs and Sacrifice Fragments right here. Plug it in, make sure Domination is hit activate, and go back in again. Just run this over and over. Now, to show you how profitable it can be, I'm going to swap to my Exilence, which I ran after doing 100 Dunes maps. So, the profit was about 32 div. It was a lot more than I originally anticipated it ending up at, so I was very pleased with the result. Note that the highest selling thing was the stacked decks. As I was talking about, the stacked deck incubator is by far the #1 thing to look out for. So, as I was running everything from the Legions, it managed to go all the way up to 885, which I sold 1 div per 98 stacked decks. So I was able to get a good chunk of cash out of this. Now, the 32 div might be a little deceiving, because you aren't going to be selling everything immediately, or for the price that it's listed on here, got from PoE Ninja. It's all dependent on the people you find, whoever you're finding to buy in bulk from TFT, stuff like that. All in all, I would say the setup for it was about 6 div overall, buying all of the compasses and extra Scarabs, but getting that much profit out of it allowed me to get several upgrades for my build, allow me to invest further, and hell, maybe I could go into another type of high-end strategy. So, hopefully this helped you. Highly recommend this strat if you like mapping, just killing a lot of things very quickly over and over, which is perfect for someone like me. Again, you don't have to be a master to play this strategy. I am an intermediate player, and I was able to make this sort of profit. I'm pretty sure anyone else can, as long as they, take the time and effort, experience it for themselves, learn what to change for their own playstyle. I recommend this to anyone looking for a good mid-level investment strat. You've already built up your character a little bit, you're ready to go into something a little tougher and make some more money. This isn't going to be anything like, running juiced Maven invitations or anything like that, but it's a good way to get your currency up while just doing something you love, which for me is mapping and clearing packs. So, hopefully this helped. Again, there will be links in the description to the inspiration from Grimro, as well as a link to my item filter, which I've customized just to hide a lot of low-tier rares, low-tier crafting bases, and low-tier incubators that you just don't want to worry about. And that's about all I have. Thank you for watching.